You will be tasting something in less than an hour, and it will not suck. Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for showing up, early on your Saturday morning. Welcome to BBQ-U. My name is Jim Ganther, and I have no particular qualifications to be your guide through all things grill and barbecue this morning. But I'm what you call a backyard guy, a backyard barbecuer. I just like cooking outdoors. And if you're here this morning, it's probably because you have bought a grill or a smoker from Grill and Provisions Company in the last, 3 or 4 weeks, and then you get invited to BBQ-U. Cooking outdoors, cooking over fire, is one of the most basic and most unifying of all human activities. Very few people buy a Big Green Egg or a Traeger pellet or a Louisiana who live alone, have no prospects and no friends. We cook for other people. And the reason we cook outside, I think it literally is us heeding a very primal call in our soul. But it's also because it tastes good. You can make stuff taste better on one of these guys than you can in an oven or in a microwave. And you do it not because there is some kind of selfish, personal satisfaction. You do it because you're doing it for other people. So you don't buy a Big Green Egg just to become a better cook. You get it, become a better person. And that's why you're here on a Saturday morning, and I thank you for coming. We are going to smoke a salmon, but we're going to do it at a grilling temperature. We're going to smoke a salmon, but we're doing it at grilling temperatures. We're going to do it at 350. Chris, would you make sure we can establish the heat at 350? Okay. So, as Chris mentioned, we are toweling off.
You're high.
Okay. I'm not high. Seriously, it's only 9:30. So towel it down, and we can make the argument that when you have toweled it down, your rubs are going to adhere better. And that might even be true. Knock down the level out the charcoal.
Yep.
These two salmon should be done in about 40 minutes. We're going to make 2 different rubs. The first rub is what I call the mother rub. We're going to do 2 so you can compare them. The mother rub for salmon, the most basic rub, is a 1/4 cup, which is 3 tablespoons, of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, and that's it. That is all in the world you have to do to make a good rub for salmon. Everything else in my kitchen starts with this. This is absolutely the basics, sweet and savory. It's going to complement the natural flavors of the salmon brilliantly and the smoke that we're going to impart upon it. So that's it. I call it the mother rub. It's simple. If this is all you do for a salmon, it's going to come out great, and people will compliment it. This is all I did for probably 15, 20 years. This is the mother rub. Tablespoon. By the way, all of the recipes will be available on the Grill and Provisions website. So you don't have to worry about taking careful notes. Just rub that in there. And that brown sugar is going to render and kind of baste this stuff. Now, we're going to make a hybrid. We're going to start with a mother rub. 1/3 of a cup of the brown sugar. Add a little bit more than that, so I'm gonna go a little bit longer on the kosher salt. Keep the ratio right. And then we're gonna add a few other things that are going to literally spice it up. A tablespoon of black pepper. And then we're gonna do a teaspoon cayenne pepper. I will often also use ancho pepper. I love ancho. It's got a kind of smoky finish to what you're doing. But I didn't find any in there, but I found paprika. And I will tell you, paprika is one of the underappreciated peppers in the American pantry. You get some good, fresh Hungarian half smoke, oh, you are cooking with gas, even if you're actually cooking with charcoal. So we get that together. You can use your fingers, use a spoon, use a whisk, use a fork, doesn't much matter. Don't need to overdo it. All right. Now I would typically let that sit on my kitchen counter for a half hour or so, 45 minutes, while I was starting my charcoal. The reason I would let it sit is that you never want to put refrigerated cold meat on a hot grill. You want it, bringing it out at 40, 42 degrees, you don't want that. It's not going to spoil on your kitchen counter, trust me. But you don't want to put cold meat onto your smoker. You don't want lots of thick, billowing white smoke. That's actually dirty smoke. It has a lot of flavor, but when you do it, you're actually going to wind up putting soot over your meat. And you're going to create some acrid off flavors and off smells, which you really don't want. And it took me a long time to figure this out, because I thought a little smoke is good, then a lot of smoke must be better. I would have a pint red Solo cup stuffed with the appropriate wood chips, filled to the top with water, and it looked like I was running a blast furnace in the backyard. You don't want to do that. When you look at this smoker, you can't even see the smoke coming out of the top. It's so clear. It's either a thin blue or totally invisible. That's really what you want. But like all other rules, there is an exception. And it's a slight exception, because this is a very quick smoke. It doesn't have the luxury of 12 hours of gentle smoke. So what I do is I soak that many chips, literally just what I can get with my first 3 fingers. It's 3 or 4 chips. That is it.
Is that just water? Just
water. You can use beer, wine, whiskey. Ultimately, it doesn't make a lot of difference on your palate, but it makes your backyard smell interesting. I mean, I've soaked it in early times. It took a while to put the fire out, but I mean, you can mix it with anything you want, and it's interesting. And it typically doesn't make it all the way to your palate. So I do what I call this 3-layer smoke. I've got 3 or 4 chips, and I've got 1 chunk that I just throw in there that's going to soak a little bit in, because this is much more dense. The chips, smaller, much more higher surface area to volume ratio, they soak up a lot of water. I'm going to use a couple of chips that are going to throw a lot of smoke for a very short period of time, just to give this a boost. There's going to be a little bit more smoke coming out of the damp part of this, and then I'm going to put on dry wood. The first thing you do is you burp the big green egg, if you've got one of these. Whoa, you lift a 600-pound lid, throw these on, and you're going to see that is going to create some smoke. You see it coming up already. I'm going to throw a couple more chunks on of just dry, and this is apple wood. Maybe one more. It's Danny's wood. And when you're building your fire, you have to do it. The thing that makes a smoker smoke is indirect heat. Grill is typically higher temperature, direct. Smoking is lower temperature, indirect. Well, for this recipe, I'm doing a higher temperature but indirect. It is a hot temperature smoke, but it is going to be quick. So what you do is put in something called a plate setter. This one is huge, so it's in 2 pieces, so a human being can lift it. No, this is a ceramic, fireproof ceramic. Then we put the grill on that. Now, if I were doing a Traeger, I'm just pressing buttons on my phone. So, whew. And next, you may notice I have my salmon on a perforated tray. It's perforated full moon. That makes transporting fish in particular very, very easy to and from the kitchen to the grill. So, by the way, spray it with Pam first. Put it on. Tell you what, if that chicken doesn't shut up, he's next. All right, what do you need to master your grill, master your smoker? There are only 2 things you need to master it. One is temperature control, and the other is practice. You can't make up for a lack of practice, but fortunately the practice is fun and you get to eat something at the end of it. But temperature control is absolutely vital. So too is keeping the lid down for as much as you can. This is a remote temperature probe. I'm going to put it in the thickest part of the salmon, right there in the center. And then I'm going to drop the lid. Boom. I'm going to plug it in. And this probably cost me, I don't know, $20. It's cheap. It has an app, which I'm going to use, that allows me to track the temperature from indoors. And I'm going to set this for 145 degrees. That's my target. Yep, you can take it off. Get the mitts. All right, let's see what this looks like. All right, now you'll notice it's browned. Why is it browned? Our friend, the Maillard reaction. Part of it is brown because of the peppers I put on it. You'll see the one that has the mother rub is lighter than the one that has the peppers. So, we are going to shut down the egg. And one of the things I like about real lump charcoal is it's reusable. We're starving the fire of its oxygen. So the fire will go out. And when I come back, I'm just going to add a little charcoal, replace what was lost, shake out the ash, start all over again. I like that. With briquettes, Mr. Kingsford's briquettes, once you light them, they're goners. This is the mother rub only. This is what I call bang bang salmon. This is a toadfish fish spatula. Like I said, you're always just one tool away from divorce court. I was thinking, do I need this? Once you have it, I don't know why it works. It's a little bit springier than most spatulas, but it gets between skin and flesh on fish better than anything I have ever used. I love it. I don't do any fish without having this. If I need to get it off the skin, this is my tool. All right, so I'm going to just peel some of this and some of this. Woo, that's a big chunk. Now I need a volunteer. Oh, volunteer. All right. I want you to try both of them.
This is the bang bang.
Try this one first. Try the, because you might not be able to taste the mother rub after the bang bang.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, now try the bang bang. You can tell me which you prefer. It's all a matter of personal taste. My wife prefers the sweeter one.
This one.
Yeah, it's got a lot more going on. It got a lot more going on. Who's ready to try some? What do you? Come on. You can cut the film.